where do you find the best yields for FrxETH? This is an important question. If you have FrxETH, you want to maximize those yields. And so we're going to go through every single source that I could find today with my short amount of research. But if you know something that is not in here, please reach out. You can leave a comment below and we'll include it into the next section. So to start out with, if you have FrxETH, and if you have a lot of FrxETH, honestly, we're talking millions of dollars of FrxETH. Potentially, where you want to be and where you want to start is either the SFrxETH 4626 vault or the Curve ETH FrxETH LP. And the reason I say that is that these two pools can absorb pretty much an infinite amount of FrxETH in the way that they're designed, mainly because the incentive structures that govern them are insular into the FrxETH economy, right? So SteakFrax gets all of the native yield returns, and then the Curve ETH FrxETH LP gets a bunch of voting power that Frax owns itself going directed towards those LPs. So as as FrxETH gets bigger and bigger, of course, people want to get the native yield, but they also want to get the curve yield that Frax has. So these obviously have the most TVL as well too, and I think they're some of my favorite pools as well too in this whole thing, right? Because you don't have to go anywhere; it's natively supported, and they were built by the team, or essentially,
I agree.
yeah, built from the ground up.
This is called the in-house, homemade. So you feel good here.
So we talk about this every single week on Frax Check. So if you watched Tuesday's show, you already know this. But actually, no, we have a new development. Let's take a look at this little chart. We can see a little bump in the SteakFrax ETH APR. I believe we were at like 5.3% leading up to this. It's kind of low this week when we did the Frax Check, wasn't it?
It was quite low. We were actually in the middle of the pack this week.
So now that has jumped up to 6.73% for SteakFrax ETH APR, which is, I have to say, a little bit different because typically the Curve APR is higher than the SteakFrax APR. So currently in the SteakFrax ETH vault, there is 98,271 ETH staked. That's $186 million worth of Ethereum staked, and it's earning 6.3%. That is a lot. That is a lot. And then on the Curve LP, it's earning 5.57%, and that's made up of 4 assets. So you're getting CRV, CVX, Frax shares, and then trading fees as well too. So 3 assets plus some trading fees, and that makes the 5.57%. Okay, do you have either of these? Is this where you're parking your FrxETH?
Yeah, I have some in the SFrxETH vault, but mainly I have in the Curve ETH and FrxETH because I figured now's the time to accumulate.
Yeah. So again, if you're a whale, this is the pool that you should be taking a look at because the other ones are going to be a little bit smaller. You might not be able to deploy $10 million of FrxETH into the other pools, but you can definitely do it into the SteakFrax vault. So moving on to the next set of LPs. These are from the WETH replacement program that Frax debuted 2 weeks ago that we talked about on This Week in Frax. And this is a program to drive increased liquidity using FrxETH on Curve. And essentially the FrxETH that is paired to these assets is getting incentivized in the same way that Frax base pool gets paid out based on TVL. So the higher the TVL for any of these pairs, and I'll pull the picture. So for SteTH, Coinbase ETH, Alchemist, AlETH, and then SETH, which is from Synthetics, and then Anchor ETH. Based on how big the TVL is, Frax is going to use some of the rewards that are earned from I believe it's SteakFrax or from its own income to pay this out. So some of them are yielding quite high right now.
Wow.
Especially this AlETH. So if if this is the pool for you, that's earning 36% right now, projected to go to 56%. That's crazy.
Damn, that's freaking nuts.
But even look at this. Look at the SteakFrax pool. SteakFrax going from 5% up to 20% projected. Coinbase
Yeah.
ETH going from 5% up to 19%. So there's going to be a huge jump in the APRs, and I believe the TVLs are going to shoot way up on these.
Yeah, the TVL is definitely gonna rise to match for sure. But yeah.
So WETH replacement program in full force. Moving on, the next one is the balancer pool. Did you know there was a balancer pool with SteakFrax in it?
No, this is new to me. I didn't recognize this.
Yeah, I think I'd forgotten about this one. This one doesn't get a lot of love, but like when we look at it, it's one of the largest LP pools.
Oh shoot!
Yeah,
Wow.
so it has $43 million worth of value, and it's getting somewhere between 4.71% and 7.41%, depending on how much VBAL you have. So Balancer
Right.
implemented a VE tokenomics system that allows you to get boosted yield, and that's shown here. So and this essentially allows you to park SteakFrax ETH along with FrxETH and then Rocket Pool ETH. So all these are yielding assets inside this pool, earning an additional like 4 to 7% APR. Pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, this is super cool. Is that just from trading fees, or is that from like BAL rewards and stuff too?
No, that's from the BAL rewards, I believe.
Got it.
I
Okay.
think well, we would have to go to the page to see the rewards, but I think it's a nice even breakdown. It's not.
I see.
It looked pretty good, and this one went under the
Nice.
radar. I was really surprised about this one. So
Huh.
this one can actually take a lot. If you have a few million SteakFrax ETH, you can deposit into this pool. And the
And
balance.
I think what's more important to Sam is the diversity, right? You could diversify across all three in one shot too, if that's a concern.
Yeah. I don't, and this one's cool because wrap state ETH is always going up, so it constantly needs to be rebalanced. I think same for our ETH as well too, or they all are. No,
No.
these are all like increasing tokens. I'm out of it. Okay. Okay. So moving on, there is a pool on Solidly on Ethereum that I found that has a TVL of 1.8 million, and this is a FrxETH WETH pool. And this one is earning 8.9%. So interesting. Like it's doing okay. It's beating the SteakFrax ETH yield, which is what you want to see. The next entrant that we're seeing is Metronome. Friend of Frax, friend of the show. Shout out Jeff.
Shout out Jeff.
Yeah,
the green one.
The green one. Yeah. And Metronome, it's a DeFi protocol that issues synthetic assets. So essentially, you deposit your SteakFrax ETH, and you can borrow MS ETH against it, and then you can sell that MS ETH to buy more SteakFrax ETH, and then repeat the process to get leverage. And based on the collateralization ratio of 80%, this would allow you to get about 4 to 5x leverage on the yield that you're getting with SteakFrax ETH, meaning you could push that, I believe what was about a 6% yield all the way up to like 20 to 25%.
Right. What's the borrowing cost on the MS USD?
I don't think it has a borrowing cost, but I'm not sure. I think we talked about this. We'll need to go back to the Green Jeff episode, because I'm sure we talked about it you guys asked him in the episode how they made money.
Yeah.
I
think that was a shameless plug on my end. But yes.
But they also have different synth assets. Like you could do some interesting trading strategies with this, where if you wanted to be long ETH and short BTC, you could deposit SteakFrax ETH, borrow MS BTC, and then sell that into the market to buy more SteakFrax ETH. Then you could have leveraged yield plus be short BTC.
That's the dream.
Yeah. So moving on to the next one, Bunny, which is it's like a Uniswap locker. It's like a fixed, how do I describe it? It's like a fixed range Uniswap locker for certain assets. Has a FrxETH WETH pool, which allows you to deposit your FrxETH and WETH into a Uniswap pool that I believe is only a couple of ticks wide. That goes from 0.998 to 1.002. It's probably like 4 ticks, which is not that big. And then you deposit it. It's earning a base yield from trading fees of 1.24%. And then you earn an additional 8.64% on top right now, which you can boost with their lit token up to 75%.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So if you're a bunny person and you have some lit, this might be a really nice opportunity for you.
Crazy.
So Ramses is another one. I actually saw Nader talk about this one in chat. So I had to go check it out when I was doing my research for this. And Ramses is a solidly fork that's on Arbitrum, and they have a couple of pools. The biggest one for FrxETH being a FrxETH WETH pool with 2.9 million of TVL that is earning between a base yield of 10.26 that can be boosted up to 25.65%.
Wow.
Have you heard about Ramsey before?
No, this is the first time, so I'm very curious.
I was actually really
a lending protocol or what?
No. It's a solidly fork that's on Arbitrum.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's actually a surprising amount of dexes that I didn't know about. Solidly forks are popular. Athena, another solidly fork that's on BNB, which also for I like Athena. I think I like Athena because they airdropped all VFX holders.
They played the game well.
Yeah. So it's on BNB chain, and they have 2 pools that you can use for Frax. Well, 3 pools for FrxETH, right? But we're just going to talk about the
ETH base.
Yeah, the ETH pools, ETH only pools. So they have a SteakFrax FrxETH pool, which is earning 11% APR. And my only thing was like, I don't know if that's including the SteakFrax yield, because if it is, then you can add on another 2 to 3%, giving you a total of like 13% yield. And the FrxETH pool is earning 10.54%. And that one has 5 million. Look, and that FrxETH pool has $5 million of TVL. The FrxETH pool has $1 million of TVL. So those are sizable pools, especially the FrxETH one. That's very sizable. You could put a few $100K in that one and still maintain a high APR there.
Yeah. I wonder though, like, what is that risk premium that for me at 11%, I might still be okay using our homemade products. You know what I mean? Like, what's that percent for you before you kind of venture out there?
I probably would be wanting to get like 15 to 20, honestly.
Yeah.
And
I think that's probably the consensus is you want 15% plus. You're gonna basically 2x the native yield that's offered on FrxETH. Cool.
Also, also if you're you have to take into account what you think the token is going to do as well too, because if you earn the token now and your plan is to hold it for like 6 months or something, and the token price drops by 50%, then all your yield is dropped by 50% as well too. If on the other hand it goes way up, so like for taking into account like Frax farming, so in the first year of farming Frax, you're farming Frax at an average cost of $5, and then it goes to 40. So the 20% yield that you were getting on whatever you were farming, now what is it, like 10x's, right? And now it's 50%. Now you get a 50% yield. Yeah. So that's what you're kind of betting on with these non native farms. Kind of have to be long, want to be long their token. So Pendle, we need to have them on the show because I think they have a really interesting product. It's similar to who did we just have on last week?
Nathan, with the Swivel. Oh, was it Swivel Finance?
Yeah, Swivel.
Yeah.
So Pendle also splits premium and yield, but I think this is their pro version. They have a non-pro version. But here you can see some of the stuff. So if you split the yield off, you can get they'll automatically leverage it for you, and you'll get a return of 20.1% APY if the APY remains constant at 5.7%. The only thing about this one is that you have to lock up. I believe you have to lock your SteakFrax into their system for this term, which is 608 days. So if you're okay with that, if you're like long-term bullish SteakFrax and you want to enter into their system, it might be interesting. I think we should talk to the Pendle people just to see what they're building, because it seems complicated, but at the same time, something that you could profit a lot from.
I've always loved these super complicated products. I get to nerd out. I get to nerd out on stream.
So on Optimism, there is what was this one? Velodrome. Yes, Velodrome. Also friend of the protocol, Velodrome.
Yes.
Has
hometown favorite.
Yeah, has some great pools. Unfortunately, all their pool amounts are denominated in ETH, but you know, like 1800 WETH and 1600. So like, what is it? 3400 ETH. That's a $10 million pool right there, right?
No, 6.5 million.
Still,
yeah, 3,400. Yeah.
Yeah. So 30
was big.
Yeah. So that this pool's getting 9.75%, and the FrxETH pool is getting 12%. It's interesting how the market is so efficient. Yeah, it's interesting how the market is so efficient. That other solidly fork that we were talking about on Arbitrum was getting like 10 and 11. This one's getting like 9 and 12 with similar TVL.
Yeah.
So Wombat is the next one. This is a DEX that's on ARB and BNB. So I believe this screenshot is from the BNB side, I want to say. But it allows you, I believe it's a curve fork, because they have these like tri-pools. It's either a curve fork or balancer fork. So you can do single-sided deposits into these. In this case, if you deposit SteakFrax, you'll get 14.45%. FrxETH gets 8.4%. I'm not really sure how they're able to have like single-sided like returns, right? Where like you just deposit. Yeah. I don't know how they do it. So, but it works. Might have to talk to them because this is something that I have not seen before, where you have the yield. It's one LP pool, but then you have all the yields kind of distributed based on those individual LPs.
Oh wow, I was very curious.
So this SteakFrax, I'm guessing you deposit SteakFrax, which is already earning 5%, and then you get an additional 14% on top.
Right.
That would be nice. But there is only $37,000 of TVL in this pool. So if you deposited another 100, it'd probably go down to like 8 or 7 or something, which is still pretty good. Moving on, we have Magpie, which is a DEX with V tokenomics on Arbitrum, and they have a FrxETH pool, which is getting 18.5%, and they have, I don't know if they have the TVLs here. I believe they have 145,000 of TVL in there, so it is quite small, but it is kind of probably worth checking out. Or maybe this is a maybe they're using Wombat. Actually, they are using Wombat. So I'm not really sure what that system is. I mean, it's a little bit more complicated on these. Like, I haven't looked deeply into ARB and recently. Like, what's the up and coming like DEXs there?
Right.
But yeah.
But no, I think you did a great job, kind of giving the lay of the land here that is outside of home base. Yeah, that's really nice. Good job, Sam. Good job.
Yeah. So I think what are your top choices?
I think my top choice is, you scroll down for a sec. Let me just review the choices. Just scroll through.
So we had the SteakFrax, the native pools, right?
I probably keep like a good 50% of my stack on the home base. I feel like that's just just me, right? If I had a 100 ETH per se, I would probably keep 50 ETH in the split between FrxETH and the convex, depending on the yield. And then the
Mhm.
other remaining 50, I'd probably go degenning around a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm really interested to see how these WETH replacement pools do over the next few weeks, because a 50% yield on Alchemist
I'll
ETH,
ETH, yeah,
yeah, that's great. I mean, like, we know
that's solid.
we spoke with Scoopy. It's a great
Yeah,
project. They're not going
that's
anywhere.
solid.
So
That's solid. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good one.
Uh,
I kind of like the balancer ETH. I think that's the one that's nice that gives you a instant diversity. But again, the yield is not, that amazing. So it's more of a, I guess, quote, hedge per se.
I'm I'm
Um,
I'm like anti diversification when it comes to LSTs,
yeah, I
because you open yourself up to smart contract risk by of the other tokens, which
3xing. Yeah,
yes, yeah. So
agreed,
you're
agreed.
holding FrxETH, which and Rocket Pool, which each have their own issues, and if one of them goes down, then you're down 30%, right? I'd rather be down like 100% on a full loss from SteakFrax than be in a diversified pool where I just have more contract risk.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely different philosophies. I like
I
the
actually,
metronome one
yeah,
too, to be honest.
I like metronome,
I
but maybe the Pendle actually does the same thing. Uh, we need to talk to the Pendle guys. I think that's the moral of the story here. Is they
Yeah,
built
yeah, let's bring them on.
yeah.
They built some pretty cool stuff, and they've pivoted and also changed and updated, like, a handful of times. So kudos to the team.